I'm literally just going to go live. There's no point in dragging this out any longer than it needs to be. Horrendous, absolutely horrendous mess of a game that was ruined by a very stupid decision from a very young player, and it just got worse. I honestly don't know where to begin with this. I mean, there were so many calamitous errors on our part, and we kind of just gifted you the easiest 3 points. I'm going to start with my first contentious decision. You should have had a penalty in the first half.
Oh, we should have had a penalty in the first half.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on the line. I
don't agree with him on this one.
Okay.
I didn't want the pity from Mike Dean. I didn't like it.
I thought it was outside the box personally, but that's not really what I care about at the end of this game.
You know, I mean, it's positive because at least, you know, double digits I think would have been
horrendous.
Yeah, I think that there's at least a bit of respectability if it's still within when it gets to double digits. Then it's like, are you a Premier League football team anymore? You know, it's
yeah. The thing was, I mean, we knew this was going to be a stupidly hard game because the players had out, and then when we saw the lineup, we were like, "Oh, Jakovic, he's getting his first start. Let's see what he can do." And literally within 2 minutes, it's gone. It's game over in terms of, and then all of a sudden, because of the way we play the football that we do, we just can't seem to play well with 10 men. Albeit we have won a game with 10 men before, but.
I don't even know what to say because I mean I was working, so I was on call in hospital, and I just had it on my phone, just a separate thing. So because I didn't actually watch the start of the game, so but I got my phone up and I was looking at BBC and it said like Palace 10 Man United. So I was kind of like, oh, for goodness sake. For some reason, thinking we were playing Crystal Palace, so I thought we were down to 10 men because I wasn't watching it, and I was just like, what? Then I realized, wait, hang on a minute. We're playing Southampton. So I went on to actually tune into the game, and then that's where I saw that you guys were down to 10 men, and Wan-Bissaka scored, and pretty much over after that, wasn't it? It
was completely after that. I mean, in terms of the contentious decisions that I thought were incredibly harsh, I mean, the Shea Adams goal, I still don't know why that was offside.
Because he was wearing long sleeves. He was wearing short sleeves. He would have been
which
fine.
part of him was offside? I still don't know. Do you know, Jack? Which part of him was offside?
I've looked at it a few times, and it seems to be he's got when he puts his arm out, he has an imaginary friend that puts his arm out a bit further, and that's what they gave us offside. I don't know. It was that decision. I don't get it. I don't get even though you've explained the red card to me, I still don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason why I have maybe a bit more empathy for it is because it sounds like it was similar to what happened to David Luiz against Wolves. So I think in the Arsenal game, from what I heard, obviously Arsenal got bantered by Wolves today. They were also down to 9 men. And I think David Luiz got sent off because he did literally a similar challenge. And they reviewed it, and again it was because he didn't play the ball, therefore denying a goal. So you could, if you attempt to play the ball, then it's a yellow card apparently. But if the referee deems that like you haven't actually attempted to play the ball and you've just fouled the man, then it's basically a red card and you're sent off for denying a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. That doesn't make you guys feel better. It probably does.
But the logic being that if Bednarek was simply just to clatter into the player and sort of go for the ball, go for whatever, stick his leg out, he's going to get a yellow card, and that's the stupid thing of it because he was trying to pull out of the challenge. And it was just the slightest raise, if anything, has got him a straight red card. Which is horrendous. I mean, it's already horrendous in terms of our injuries list as it is, but to have 2 players get a straight red card, that's 3 game suspension, right?
Straight red will be 3 game suspension.
It's all right, man. We got.
I'm annoyed because I had Bednarek in my fantasy football, and now I'm scared to see how many points he's got from me in my defense because it's probably -4 or 5. I don't know how much he's got.
Do you want to know something? That was the first thing I thought was like, no, Bednarek's got -7. However. However, I had Bruno Fernandes as captain today, so
it's fine. I didn't. I've got Gundogan as my captain. I made the mistake. So
swings and roundabouts, and it swings and roundabouts.
I'm disappointed now, so I've screwed up my FPL because he was in my defense. Oh, it's
yeah. No, it's just an absolute mess, really.
I've got a feeling though that you're about to see the first manager ever to lose 9-0 twice at one club and keep his job.
Yeah. No, because because if you put aside the trauma, which is a 9-0, this was a unique circumstance. And you did say when we said in the preview that you had quite a few players out that are injured. You obviously started a few players. You've obviously had the 2 red cards. If a fully fit Southampton squad without these decisions, I think goes toe-to-toe with Manchester United. And of course, you've signed Minamino as well, who might obviously give chance to that. I think it'd be, as bad as it is, I think it would be still harsh to sack Hasenhüttl after this.
I'd be very surprised if Hasenhüttl faces any repercussions because of this.
There's a bigger game plan, and like we said before the pre-show, a lot of people, everyone will say we knew we were going to get a spanking today. It was just that thing of, if we're going to win, this is how we're going to do it. But we all kind of knew a spanking was coming.
Yeah,
I just didn't think it'd be spanked that hard. The bonuses are, one, that you can say it was down to 8 men. Coming out of the game, we know going forward what the difference will be, and that is having those players back in.
Yeah.
And fourth, I didn't have to be at the stadium this time.
Yeah. You can watch it in the comfort of your home wearing your slippers. It's
last time I had to walk home in the rain. It was the worst. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm just going to go to bed and cry.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to bed and cry.
In the same reflection, really. I mean, the magical things about that night, there wasn't anything, is that the fans really got behind the squad even after full time. And I totally agree with this comment here and here. The strongest thing this fan base can do is get behind Ralph and support the club. It happens. It's happened before. I really hope it doesn't happen again, but it has happened before, and we just keep going. It's if you
maybe this is the momentum, because when that happened to Leicester, you then went on to have like a pretty good season after in terms of your run. So this might be the thing to galvanize the Saints again to finish the end of the season really well.
Yeah, exactly. We're still in exactly the same league position as we were before we started, which I'm kind of amazed at, really, considering how many goal differences. Am I right in saying that? Are we still 11th?
Yeah,
I'm going to quickly check. I think, are you still ahead of Arsenal? I think you might be.
No,
we're only 2 points behind.
So we're 2 points behind Arsenal, but I think we've got 2 games in hand over them. So
you have
one game now.
You have 1 game in hand, but if you still win that, if you win that, still you'd still go above them.
Yeah.
So it's,
you only get 3 points. So
it's crazy time. It's crazy competitive. Like you can it's crazy where you can be with just 2 weeks of the decent results under your belt.
This is the thing. That's why I don't think you should react that way, because it still is so tight that even though this is such a bad result, if you win your next 2 games, suddenly you're 7th. So it's not really reflective necessarily of the league that we have this season, if that makes any sense.
But at the same time, it is almost exactly reflective of the league this season. It's like, this is the season where a 9-0 game should happen. This is definitely this is definitely it. And it should be against the team that were first for the first time ever in their history. It should be the same season they do that. When they hit their heights, they should hit lows again. So it's honestly, it's so strange watching a match where you're losing 9-0, and it's like, but 1, I've been here before, and 2, it doesn't really matter that much.
No, it doesn't.
And that was at home as well, wasn't it? I mean, I know it was in the stadium, but this obviously was Old Trafford, so that there's a little maybe.
At 9 men, we lost to the team that had Cavani, Bruno Fernandes, Martial, Rashford. It's like, that makes sense. And I said to Mike, I think it was like 5-0, 6-0. I was like, when you brought on Dan James, I was like, Ollie's doing us a favour here. Because he could be a real dig about this and bring on Pogba and really start messing with us. But I was like, oh no, he's bringing on. Even he's trying to help us. And then did what we did. We thought, now we'll take another player off for Ollie. So
no, it's a bit of a shock like that. I mean, the thing to remember is like we did end up with 8 outfield players on the pitch, and that's, I mean, we were struggling with 9 outfield players on the pitch. So to end it the way we did, I mean, we conceded the final 3 goals with 9 players on the pitch. Is that because of the penalty? And then there was
penalty, Daniel James, and
so
I'll get the thing up.
So to put a bit of perspective, Liverpool still have conceded 7 this season with 11 players on the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay. So just everybody let that sink in. They've done it with 11 on the pitch.
Oh no, you conceded 3 goals after you went down. You conceded to 87 the Bruno Fernandes penalty, then Martial scored, and then Daniel James scored in the 93rd minute.
Yep. The funny thing about Southampton is like it seems to be like we were talking about the last match when Bednarek scored, everybody was like, it's going to be 3-2 because that's what happens when Bednarek scores. And as soon as a player went off in the first half, really early, already everybody was like, that's what happened in the 9-0 game. And then this first goal went in. It's like you already saw it after 1 man down, 1 goal in. People were already like, here comes 9-0.
It's
almost it's like we wish it into it.
Yeah.
It's just visualization, and the more of us that think it, oh my god, and it's so annoying how much it happens with us.
You're absolutely like the chat section was literally like see, believe, achieve in that 9-0. It was literally it's gonna be 9. It's gonna be 9. Literally from that. Oh.
Question, guys, because I'm just seeing the commentary from BT Sport, and they're criticizing VAR here. Is there any criticism for VAR in this game? Is it just solely the offside? But was
just the offside? Mike disagrees about the penalty, which I think that I think it was a free kick. But I think the Shea Adams, that wasn't I don't think that was offside. And the only other thing that we would be arguing is Bednarek's red card, but that comes down to more that I don't think that was a red card. Even I don't think that rule is right. But that's what that's down to.
That's also
think about it.
Go on,
but thinking about it, if you look at the fact that he went to the monitor to check that final red card for Bednarek. He should have only overturned his decision if it was a clear and obvious error, right?
Yeah.
So he'd already given a penalty. So then to overturn his decision to give a red card or not, that's not clear and obvious. So if they have contention on that, I would say
when he stood at the TV monitor going, I don't know, and you can see him looking at him going, what am I looking at? I don't know. Okay, then it's not clear and obvious then.
What's it say in the rule book, Lee? What's it say, Lee? Lee, did you read it, Lee? I haven't read it, Lee.
I guess the only thing I would say is that, like, to be fair to and I know I can say it's from a position of strength. I know people. It's just that you would still then have inconsistencies because then if he then decided, right, okay, it's a yellow card and it's a thing, and then another referee on another day said it's a red card, it's a something. People would still complain and say, well, why was it this one this week? And why is it this one? The referees be more consistent. So in that sense, I kind of agree that if they can then make the decision based on the monitor and say, and they all make the same decision, then at least in theory, that brings about the consistency rather than, am I making sense here? So I can kind of understand why they go to it, because I'm sure next week, another referee would have made a red card, and then they would have said, "Oh, why did they not give the same decision as the previous decision?" And then say, "Why did they go to VAR?"
And but in the same regard, that the fact that they sent Mike Dean to the monitor shows you that they can't make a consistent decision, because if they could, they'd say, "There's no need to go to the monitor. It's definitely this." But the fact that they're giving it an opinion over to the match official on the pitch shows you that there's no way you're ever going to have consistency in any of these decisions. I'm still in shock of that Shea Adams offside. I'm still yet to see an image that shows me clearly that he's in an offside position, because it's just that the lines are far too thin to actually show you any kind of advantage, disadvantage. It's a joke.
Well, the reason why I'm even more annoyed by it now is actually because I don't know if you remember with City was with the Gundogan. I don't know. I think it was City against Aston Villa when they scored their goal, where according to the law, because he came back from offside position, but because supposedly Mings got involved or whatever, it was fine. So in my mind, the whole point of offside is you don't want to give an advantage to the attacker over the defender, a beneficial advantage over the attacker. That's why it exists. So if it's a millimeter or something and they deem it an advantage, okay, fair enough. But in the case of Gundogan, he was coming back from an offside position. And even if the defender, you know, managed with the ball, he still was at an advantage coming from the offside position. So because of that, I don't really see how you can then say, well, there was no advantage for the attacker when he came back from a clear offside position. And at the same time say a millimeter offside gives an advantage to an attacker. Does that make sense? And that's where the whole rule thing's in. Like, we need to define what actually is a clear advantage to the attacker over the defender. And I don't know what that is with modern football, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it's just it is what it is. There's a comment here. Jesus Titan, what's he saying? Honestly, I'm so livid right now. It's worse than the Leicester 9-0. I don't think it is.
Nah.
I honestly don't. I think this one is a lot less severe than that. 2 reasons. We had nine players on the pitch in the end. And I think in terms of the squad that we have, we're in a much better position as a squad overall. We had lots of makeshift players playing tonight, and unfortunately it didn't work. So let me know in the comment section if you disagree with that, if anyone else wants to jump in on that. But are you on that line, Jack, in terms of like, that's not as bad? It's not as bad.
It's not as bad. Like, all jokes aside, like I was saying, of being there or not, you come out of this game, it's like, well, I know that in 2-3 weeks, Romeo's back, I know Vestergaard's back, I know like almost half the squad is back. Like we are missing half of the squad, including we don't have a bench. If you looked at the benches tonight against each other, they were just embarrassing, really. Like it was. You say that this isn't this isn't the score of a Premier League side. It's like, well, if you look at the squad, most of it isn't a Premier League side. Most of it is a reserve side.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 of them sent off. Get 2 or 3 more decisions go against you. It's like, well, yeah, that's just gonna. You then have. It's more about the resolve of it being 9-0, and it's the look on the players on the pitch. There were a couple of goals that you think, okay, who wasn't marking? You should have closed them down more. But after 5-0, you're like, it doesn't matter. Let's just get this game over with. Like, I can't be more. I'm not more angry at the players for conceding that 9 than I was when they conceded 5. It doesn't make any difference at that point. Right.
So, and in terms of where we are in the league as well, we've got 29 points on the board as opposed to where we were last time when this sort of thing happened. But yeah, there we go. I guess we found out if this shirt is lucky or not. It's definitely not. It's definitely not.
Definitely not. Trying to take it back, mate. I wonder if you can get a refund for it. Just like I wore this last night for the first time, and look what happened.
It's full of tears.
Give me the pink keeper kit now.
Who was your best? Who would you say is your best performer? I know that's difficult, but there's got to be at least maybe one player that you felt,
man,
something.
Redmond had an all right game when he came on.
It probably would have either been like funnily, it probably would have either been Bednarik or Stevens, but then Bednarik got sent off. Stevens at least made a couple of headers cleared.
Yeah,
that's about it. But you can't give it to anyone really. Like Shea, Shea scored the goal that didn't go in. He's the only one that looked somewhat attacking. Danny, problem was everyone who could have had a game where they could have offered something going, they were all out of position because they're now covering for everyone. So you just can't say it. I guess Kane Ramsey at that, marked his debut tonight as well.
It's a good shout.
I mean, your first game and it's 9-0 and you're one of the defenders probably doesn't look too well on you. But
no,
in the general, just the things. I mean, he didn't really make any major mistakes. It's just everyone was. We lost 9-0. There's nothing you can say.
Yeah.
No one was good.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of someone, but when you think of the likes of, say Kane Ramsey, coming on to have a performance in the first team, it's hard to pick out a standout player. But in terms of no one has a particularly great game, but there were a few flashes of things. I mean, the beginning of the second half was encouraging, and I think when it got to like 20 minutes in, we were thinking, do you know what? If this ends 4-0, I'll be quite happy with that. If we can hold out with this many players on the pitch, considering how much we conceded in the first half, and then it just all went horribly wrong. So horribly wrong.
On the other side, how does it feel? How do you feel the United display was? I mean, it's 9-0, but how was it in?
It was like a training ground activity for you.
It's
almost like you can't be angry at it. It's like, well, it's United. They as long as they pass it properly and shoot on target, they're going to score. It's going to be fine.
It's like as you said, it was like because I think the positive thing. Oh, they're showing. Yeah, sorry, they're just showing the David Luiz just on BT. So I'm just having a look, just in comparison to the Saint one. So what does he do?
He's not pulling out. He's not pulling out of the challenge. I mean, you could say there's no difference in that challenge to what the Bednarek one is. But when you're running across the back of a player, you're kind of, Luca Dean got sent off for Everton against us earlier in the season because effectively he's running in the path of the player.
Yeah.
But just by the way that Bednarek is trying to get out of the way, it just feels like he's not making a motion towards. In fact, it's the opposite. How can that be penalised in the same in a more severe circumstance than if he were to literally go for the ball and make a horrendous challenge?
No, I agree. It doesn't. Because a part of me thinks he should have basically just
whacked him.
Well, at least went through him, to get try and win the ball, because then that would have been. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that needs to be looked at, to be honest. So, but in regards to United's performance, I think the only thing that we can really take from such a big scoreline is just the confidence that it will give to the team. Anthony Martial, in particular, who scored 2 goals, has been on quite a big goal drought. And who hasn't really had a great season. His last 2 or 3 games he's been dreadful. So I think the fact that he has got 2 goals hopefully will mean that he will spearhead this season. Daniel James as well. So I think just a general confidence throughout the camp and just going forward. If United are going to challenge for a title, which I don't think they will, but if they are, a game like this gives players confidence. And we obviously play Everton, I think, this weekend, so we can take that confidence going into the game against Everton the weekend. So, And
you won a game with Lindelof and Maguire back, so you must be happy about that.
I mean, to be honest, they
were playing attacking midfield by the end of the game. Let's be honest.
Exactly. At one point, I think Maguire, at 30 minutes, was literally just camped inside your half. So. This was, goodness knows what would have happened if Eric Bailly was playing. My goodness, if Eric Bailly was playing, then it might have been double digits. I'm not even going to say that. It could have actually been double digits. So even Pogba, I don't think was playing for what I think was out.
He was on the bench.
On the bench tonight,
the bench, So it was a good. It's weird because I don't think you guys could take anything from it, and I don't think I could really take anything from it aside from. It was 3 points, it was confidence, and you move on. I wouldn't say that United are now back and are now going to sort of, because we could easily just lose to Everton on Sunday because it's just such a weird game.
You'll come out on the pitch against Everton, you're like, why are there so many players? They've got too many. Unless Richarlison gets another red card or something like that, so maybe he could stud some play or something. Who knows? Who are you guys playing next? You're playing
Newcastle.
Okay, yes, that should be an easy dub. Hopefully.
Yeah, to be fair, after the Leicester game, we had City next, and that was just disheartening because you came out of that game going, "Oh, for God's sake, it's going to be exactly the same." Yep. But against Steve Bruce, I'm a bit more like, even with 10 men, we could probably win that.
Yeah, exactly.
even with 9 men, we might get something out of it. But
yeah, absolutely. And I think we will appeal the red card against Bednarek. And I think maybe it will at least be reduced to a 1-match ban. If we can't get it sort of reduced further, but
these rules just take the fun out of the game, and it's taking the fun out of attackers because they can't put their arm up to direct a free kick where to go because they might be offside, and the defender can not put in a challenge and tap a player and get sent off. It's like this. You're making it like the game worse for defenders and strikers. What's the point in this? Why would you make the advantage go the other way of making the game worse? It makes no sense. But I don't think VAR is the problem. It is more the rules and the officiating. It's nothing to do. It's not VAR's fault.
Yeah. No, it's just technology, isn't it? But it just goes to show you just how I think the rules were always inconsistent in the first place. It's just you've now brought something to enforce it, and then it's brought a spotlight on the actual rules of football. Because you never really thought about the rules of football before VAR. It's just the referee decided, and you just ranted about how one decision was not, and we got the inconsistency. And that's why VAR's in the first place. So now VAR's kind of putting a spotlight on the inconsistencies of referees and the law. And, the question is, how do you correct that? And I don't really know, to be honest, aside from getting better referees or making it clear what the actual law is so that everyone adheres to that specific thing. So if you say offside is a millimeter and that's it, and that is just how it has to be, then at least you know that every single game from now on is adhered to that standard, so there's no bias to another team. But if you're changing it, then it's
but in like adapting it throughout the season, it's almost making it worse. All those extra things they're sort of adding in, and then something like the bounce off the leg, and then it goes onto the arm, and therefore
you remember, like, even at the beginning of the season, that they were giving handballs for everything. So literally, if it just touched your arm, whether it was by your side or up there or to it, etc., it was a penalty. So now they've kind of eased that, because it was ridiculous, because people just kicking the ball against people's hands and getting penalties, which isn't a penalty in my opinion. So they need to just stick with something and apply it to all for the full season, and then review it at the end of the season rather than making changes midway through.
Yeah, they got Ralph listening in now. Let's see what he's got to say.
Guys, I have to head off, unfortunately. So, but sleep easy, guys. That's all I can say.
I will.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch up on the next
See you later.
All right, yeah. Cheers. So let's hear what Ralph's got to say.
Indeed.
You got a feel for the guy.
Premier League starts, and then he was very reckless. You'd only say, I suppose, it was a rush of blood to the head, carried away. What can you say to him?
What I can say to him, he banned the guys who were on the pitch. I think they were helpless after he sent off immediately. And then it's gone very quick. And you know that the 90 minutes can be very long. But afterwards, nobody will speak about the one player sent off or the second player sent off. The result is there, and we have to look at the result again. That's it.
The Premier League is an unforgiving place. What do you do now? The reaction from your players, you have to defend their morale, you have to get them back on their feet. As you said, it's happened before. Can you do it again?
Yes, we have to. We have played so far a very good season, and nobody expected that such an evening would come today. There were no signs of, and I must also say that doesn't.
I mean, there were signs
this season so far, but
of what?
This happening, not this bad, but
not what is going on now in your mind. But we have to look at this again.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
He didn't want to be there.
No, well, why would you? Why would you? It's a freakish mess that has happened.
Yeah.
But
I think you said it best with the comment earlier on. I think Saints fans just have to get behind him now and understand what tonight is. Tonight isn't what that Leicester game was last season. That was he could lose his job. This where are we going? What's going on? But since then, we can all agree what an incredible job he's done. Up until 5 games ago, when all these injuries started happening, you can read through those comments. Everyone's saying Joe out and that he wasn't backed and yada. But we got 4 players in the last window. Okay, getting rid of Vokins and Valerie is a very confusing thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're back to fitness in less than 2 weeks. And then what do you do with those players? It's just money, money that you were going to lose that we can't invest in the summer. So it's a tough night, but we've all been trained for this now. So it's all just bite your lips and get on with it and get ready for Newcastle. And Newcastle will be a big game. It's going to be a big game. These guys are going to have to come out and really do some business.
Yeah.
Just to let people know where we are.
Yeah.
If we go out and we lose that game, then we're going to have to start asking some questions.
Everyone starts to lose it, but
we all have to not will it into happening. It sounds stupid, but as soon as you start seeing those 9-0s on the comments tonight, you're like, yeah, it could happen. And the more you lot say it, the more it's like it's definitely going to happen. And it feels like the will of the Southampton fans for it to happen. And it's almost like we want us to lose 9-0.
Well, it's like it happens, and we've been through it before, and we know what's on the other side of this. And I think if you take the latter part of last season, you think how great it was when we came back after the first break in the season. But it is what it is. You move on. They only got 3 points. We only missed out on 3 points today. We just had a goal difference that's taken a bit of a massive hit. I'm disappointed by quite a few of those VAR decisions. The VAR decisions. It's still annoying me. It's still going to annoy me.
I think we have to take a step back from the VAR decision, because even though, I mean, tonight there wasn't that. Okay, so the Bednarak one is a rule that we don't agree with. That's what that is.
Yep.
VAR for the Shea goal. Yep. Okay, that's definitely onside. That's something. The penalty, that doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. So that aside, you then look at the goals and you're like, well, for a team that's down to 9 men, are you closing down as much as you could be? I mean, how do those players have that much space in the middle of the park there to get that in?
Yeah.
There are still questions to be asked. But I feel they need to be asked after the next game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't really close down in the same way when you've got fewer players on the pitch, because ultimately you leave yourself massively exposed. So what do? You just simply have to sit back in the way we did and just hope that they don't do a penetrating pass that gets someone in the penalty area that then gets a shot on target or goes down for a penalty. But it was just anyway.
It's when we were talking about the like Danny leaving, and Ralph said players leave, but we've got a job to do. That doesn't change for me. I honestly think Ralph's the most important part of this club, and everyone needs to understand how important he is.
Yeah,
and how this tonight is down to injuries. Yeah, and then heads absolutely dropping. Like you can't deny the players that are on the pitch at the end of it, especially after Bednarak got sent off. They were like, "Oh, what's the point? What's the point in playing this game if it's what's going to be like?" Exactly. If Shea's goal was stood and it was 4-1, I'm not saying that it could have would have come back from it, but it would have been a different game. It tonight could have gone so many different ways if it wasn't for so many different decisions. So just get ready for the Newcastle game, which I'm just seeing highlights of. Did they beat Palace? Did Palace beat them?
I don't know. To look at that, but you're absolutely right. I mean, in terms of the nucleus of the club, it's got to be Hasenhüttl, and let's face it, if he goes for whatever decision, whether it would be on his own decision or from freak mad decision from the club that they decide to dismiss him after this, which I'd be amazed if they do. What then? Then? You still got a club with very little investment, and he's working on a shoestring budget, and with someone coming in who's probably going to say, well, to have this club perform, you need to sign a load of players. We're outside of the transfer window now, so it's irrelevant. But he has to stay. And I think that would be, it's not that it has to be. It's just, it is what it will be. I don't see him going anywhere.
And the same for João. You could say João out, but I mean, what's he done differently to any other owners in this league right now? You could say he didn't back us this transfer window, but we got Minamino, we got players coming back, and you look at United didn't get backed, and they, like we said, they needed centre backs, and they're going for a title run. Like there are teams that didn't get back because it's tough in football right now. People have lost money left, right, and centre.
Yeah, absolutely. We're
So
still paying,
if you think
paying for Lamina, paying for Hoot, paying for all those players that didn't do so well.
Exactly. So there's a system at this club that they've got in place, and we've all just got to trust it and not kick off toys, throw our toys out the pram because of what has happened tonight.
Yeah. So my phone's going off with people just texting me saying, "Did you see the score tonight?" Yes, I did see the score tonight.
Yeah.
How many messages you got?
I
didn't know I had so many friends.
Oh, I've switched off Messenger and I've just kept WhatsApp.
You?
I've only got football friends on Facebook. They don't go over the WhatsApp. The ones that are on WhatsApp will know not to say anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we won't dissect this anymore. But I would encourage all you Saints fans out there just to stay positive. It's only one game. We've done this before. We move on. Someone just put first on match of the day. Oh, first on match of the day.
That'd be fun. I mean, if you still watch Match of the Day, you're nuts, but okay. Why did you Match of the Day? We're right here for you.
Right here for you, everyone. Group hug. Bring it in. So there we go. Thanks everyone for joining us, for commiserating with us, for just generally being there for each other tonight, because I think we've needed it. It's not as bad as the other one. 29 points on the board, 11 points to go. We turn this around.
I mean, can we do the maths? I mean, like, so where were we in the league when we lost to Leicester?
18th, 19th.
Okay, and then we finished 11th. So if we do that maths this time around, so we're 11th now. We've lost 9-0. We move up. What was that? 8 spaces.
Bit further on in the season compared to the last time, but
who cares? It's the same run of form, mate. Same run of form. Yeah. Champions League, baby, it's coming. Can't wait. I can't wait for a European tour.
Yeah, it will happen.
Think how much people have to eat their dust if we end up in the European spot this season now, still after this.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we just lose 9-0 every season now. Maybe that's just we do it once a year and everything else is fine.
Is that it? We're 2 points behind Arsenal with the game in hand.
Guys, we're fine.
Yeah. Just give it some balance. So there we go. Well, is someone joking around here? Mike Dean, official for Newcastle. Please tell me that's a joke.
I mean, he shouldn't be allowed to ref again, to be fair.
Look, ever. Will that red card get appeal for Bennett? I'd be amazed if it doesn't. I reckon it'll be overturned, to be honest with you, because they'll just take pity on us. As long as it's not Mike Dean's pity, we don't want that. Anyway, we've been commiserating for the last 38 minutes.
I honestly thought this might go for 5 minutes and I'd be really quite salty about it, but just talk things through, mate. Just talk things through.
It is what it is. It's just a game.
Everyone needs to learn how to get Zen. I can't tell you.
It is. Well, anyway, as always, thank you so much for joining us. My light's gone out. Did I forget to turn it on?
No, I didn't need it.
There you go. So, as always, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Actually, just do what you want. Do what you want. It's your life. It's fine. And me and Jack will see you. You're about on Saturday, aren't you? Not going out anywhere?
Mate, I don't go anywhere.
3 o'clock kickoff.
3 o'clock? That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Look at
That'd
that.
be nice.
And I'll leave this commiserating. We're all in this together episode with this comment on the board, because 100% Ralph in, and as always, we march on. All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye.